day here at the Men's Ironman World Championships in Nice. This is a big day because this is the first time we've had the Ironman World Championships coming to Europe. Heather and myself are going to be dotting around the course throughout the day, lapping it all up and giving you a bit of a recap of the race. But wow, what an atmosphere here in Nice. I'm absolutely loving it. I had goosebumps on the start line. Right now, the men are around 800, 900 meters into the swim, but we'll be giving an update very soon.
All of the pros are out of the water onto the bike. It's the age group, as you can still see behind me, as the sun is now coming up at the Men's Ironman World Championships. And it was an exciting and fast start, as we expected, non-wetsuit, and we did see two significant groups forming. So we had a group of 12 that was led for a large chunk of the swim by none other than Jan Frodeno. He didn't actually cross the timing chip first. It was Matthew Marquardt who got the win on the swim. Not that that's going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but it was very closely followed by Jan, Braden Currie as well, making the top three. But in that group of 12, we also had significant names such as Sam Laidlow, who we expected to see there, Rudy von Berg, Dennis Chevreau, Brad Weiss and Clément Mignon making up the top 12. It was then a minute back to the chasing group. Another group of 12. Included in that group were Patrick Lange and Magnus Ditlev, so some important names there. And then beyond that, there was quite a drop-off for the rest of the field. One of the notable names, Cam Worth, as we expect, it was a little bit further down, 3 minutes 21 off the leaders after the swim. And Joe Skipper, I imagine, will not be particularly happy with his swim. 5:33 down, so I think that's a real sign of the non-wetsuit factor coming into play. But anyway, that is all of the swimmers out. Mark has jumped on his bike, heading out onto the bike course. So hopefully he'll be bringing us an update from the early stages of the bike.
In case you're wondering why we're not showing the race at all and why it's just me and Heather running around the course, that is due to licensing and rules from Ironman, which have been around for a while, and we abide by them, and therefore that means that, yeah, fortunately we can't show the race. So it's just me and Heather running around, but we are absolute fanboys and fangirls, so yeah, that's why we wanted to bring you along for the ride, and we'll give you as best updates as we possibly can. But first of all, you probably noticed I've got the helmet on. I'm off to catch up with the pros on the bike course. Woo. Here we go. We're coming up the first climb. This is Sam Laidlow leading the pack. I believe there's about 10 or 12 of them in there. I'm going to start the timer now, back to the rest. Sam Laidlow.
Let's go, Matthew.
Got Braden there, who seems to be having a bit of an issue with his zipper. Okay, gonna keep the timer going and see what the gap is. I understand there's a big gap back to the likes of Joe Skipper, like 5.5 minutes, but these guys are hitting it. All right, quick update from the bike course. So we're about 10K in. All the riders have gone through now at the start of the first climb. So we've got a big front group that have come through. They're still stuck together, so that has got the likes of Jan Frodeno in there. Sam Laidlow was leading as he came past. Braden Currie in there, who seems to be having a bit of a issue with his zipper. It was wide open. Then about 120 back, that was being led by Patrick Lange as he came up the climb here. And then we had Magnus Ditlev on his own around 150 back. And then we've got people like Cam Worth, Leon Chevalier in a group about 3 minutes or so back. And I reckon Leon will probably try and stick with Cam as he did in Mallorca last year. But yeah, anything can happen very early into the race.
Well, it's getting pretty hot outside, so we have popped back to the flat to enjoy a little bit of air conditioning and catch up on the race on the screen. Mark is on his way back from his viewpoint. But since his update, there has been a lot happening. The hill we knew, or the climb, the mountain, whatever you want to call it, we knew was going to cause some potential upset or some changes, and we've seen Sam Laidlow and Clément Mignon make the most of this climb, and they have made a significant breakaway on this climb. Most significantly at the moment, well, at the 42 mile marker where we've got the update, or just short of 70k, they have 2.5 minutes ahead of the chasers. And you're probably going to notice there's a name that we haven't mentioned. Jan Frodeno has actually been going a little bit backwards. So we see him now outside of the top 10. He's down in 13th, which is quite a surprise. We are still obviously the relatively early stages of an Ironman, and then they've got more of the plateau area on the top where aerodynamics and all of that work will come into play. But it is the two Frenchmen that have made a significant move, and we thought maybe it was just going to open up a small gap, but 2.5 minutes is quite a huge chunk. Cam Worth and Magnus Ditlev we've seen moving up. Magnus Ditlev is actually into that top 5, riding with Brad Weiss, so they are chasing. Then Cam Worth is down in 7th, but made a significant move into the top 10. He flew past Jan Frodeno up the hill, so we're not quite sure what's going on with one of the favourites, but no doubt we'll find more as the race goes on. Another mover, we've seen Leon Chevalier move into the top 10 after what was maybe a weaker swim. So there's lots of changes going on at this point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens along the plateau where it gets a little bit flatter, and then obviously where those skills come into play on the descent. But we'll be bringing you up another update when Mark joins me on the sofa.
Central part of the race recap. Little dip. It's Flory, Leon's partner.
Having a great time.
Yeah, time to chill out. Here we go. Woo.
Well, I was waiting for Mark on the sofa, but you found the ocean rather enticing, I gather.
Well, yeah, I did ride, about 12k out onto the course to catch the guys. It was pretty hot.
Big ride. I wonder how they're feeling after, what are they at now? Getting me up to 170k. A lot has happened since my update from the sofa.
Yeah, I mean, as we expected, this has been quite an exciting course, an exciting race. Sam Laidlow and Clement Mignon really hammering it on the front, and it does seem like Clement Mignon maybe is suffering for that effort early on, whilst Laidlow is just powering away. We've also seen a few penalties handed out, which has been really unfortunate for a couple of athletes, in particular Brad Weiss, who was having an absolute blinder. I think he was in 4th at the time, and to be honest, looked like he was being sat on the front most of the time, and any group he was in. He got a 5-minute drafting penalty. Not sure how that one came about. Understandably very annoyed. He's still managing to stay inside the top 10 despite that penalty. The other one is Braden Curry, who had some zipper issues coming out of transition, and he's been riding the whole thing with his tri-suit undone. He got a 5-minute penalty for intentional littering, so I think he just accidentally dropped something outside the drop zone, which is a real shame for him.
Yeah, it's so painful to watch when, 5 minutes is such a huge amount, as we are seeing. Talking of which, we've actually, as we're speaking, just got the update of Sam Laidlow going through the 170k mark, but we'll wait to hear the rest. But Rudy von Berg, when we last saw, was 4 minutes down, and then Magnus Ditlev has moved up to 3rd at 5 minutes down, so it's quite spread out at the top, but those 5-minute penalties will have just ruined those races. Yeah,
and another big mover obviously is Cam Worth, who has been moving his way through the field. At 130k, he was just 6:22 down on Laidlow. I say just, but he is working his way through the rest of the field because he's just 130 down on Von Berg and Ditlev. We've got Patrick Langer, who is, one of the favourites. He's in 9th.
Went past Jan Frodeno. That must have been an interesting moment.
Another notable athlete, Joe Skipper, seems to be having a bit of a tough day. He's over 20 minutes down, so not really sure what's going on with him. But anyway, we're waiting here for the athletes to come through, and we'll be updating a bit more whether Cam catches Von Berg and Ditlev. Wait and see. Well, it is kicking off here. We've had approximately the top 15 come through, I reckon. There's been a significant bunch. And we've even had them running through on the other side. So we've had Sam Laidlow going through along with Magnus and Rudy von Berg. But yeah, the time gaps are quite interesting.
Yeah, the big names have come through. So to give you a bit of an update just with the facts here, at the end of the bike, Sam Laidlow had a 5:16 lead over Rudy von Berg and a 5:53 over Magnus Ditlev. And then we saw a slightly bigger gap. So Cam Worth has actually came in 7 minutes behind Sam. So I think that shows that Sam was riding well at the end of that. We've just got to cheer now because Cam Worth is heading out on the run just behind you guys as we look at it.
He's looking good too.
He is.
Also significantly, Leon Chevalier, also still in that top 5, along with Clement Mignon, who seems to be having a bit of a tough time, but impressively, he's managed to hang on to Leon coming into T2 there. They're around 11 minutes down on Sam Laidlow, but only a few minutes or 4 minutes behind Cam Worth.
Yeah, I think an interesting one then is Patrick Langer, isn't it? I mean, we know he can run a 2:30 marathon. He's currently 12.5 minutes behind Sam Laidlow, but not far off the podium at all with that run. And then there was a big cheer as Jan Frodeno came through. We've just got a few more of the top 20 coming in now, but Jan Frodeno's still very much in touch, and we know we can't ride off the big man. He's 13 minutes off Sam, but again, not so far off the podium.
Yeah, well, I think it's time to go check out the run. Well, we've just bumped into Tim Don out on course just as Jan came through. I mean, that atmosphere was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, I mean, you know, whatever happens, what Jan's done for this sport is amazing. I hope he pushes on because he can easily run to a top 5. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think to the course then? Because I understand you've been around, you've trained on it a little bit or recce'd it, and also with the dynamics coming in at the moment.
I'm amazed that the gaps have really blown up that big. It's a tough course. It's not a low course, but it's a dead course. The roads are dead. The heat's there. It's just really hard. But on the run, I mean, they're going through at 3:30 per k pace early on. So the standard's just getting faster and faster. 4:31 on this course. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's get back to the course. Well, it's heating up both on the race course and out here in the sun, which the athletes will be feeling significantly. Laidlow is still on a charge here. He's got about a 6-minute gap to Ditlev, who's opened up a gap to Ron von Berg. And then we've got Cam Worth around 2 minutes back or so on that. And then Leon Chevalier, who seems to be catching a tiny bit, he's 2:15 back. And then we've got them in quick succession. Patrick Langer, though, is the big mover. He is moving the fastest on course, so stay tuned.
Alright, you can still hear the noise of the helicopter because that is recording where the action is happening in this race right now. Patrick Langer has just overtaken Rudy von Berg. We kind of saw it coming. He's been closing that gap. He's been running incredibly from the start. And Patrick Langer is now up into a third. So it still stands as Sam Laidlow with that big margin out in front. Hasn't really faltered yet. Magnus Ditlev, I just saw, has got the pain face on. They've got to go that way, so I'm further out. They've got another out and back to go once they're back to the sort of check-in, the turnaround point. So it's going to be interesting to see if Patrick Langer can carry on moving up through the field. So yeah, at the moment Ditlev still looking comfortable. He's got a margin, but Rudy von Berg in 4th, and I'm just waiting because hopefully soon we are going to see Leon Chevalier, who is currently in 5th. Here he comes. This is Leon Chevalier now. He's in a bit of no man's land and it is super, super hot out on this course. Come on, Leon! Go, Leon! Come on, you got this! Just got a little bit of a face. Not sure if that was recognition of my cheer or just the fact that it is hurting. I am hot. I've run further up, about 2k up from our original starting point, and there is no breeze. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun is just beating down on the promenade. Tiny bit of breeze for those people on the beach, but these guys running just off the beach, it is scorchio, and it's really just going to be a battle of attrition, I think, for this final bit. And there's still a few people who are just blissfully unaware there's World Championships going on, enjoying a Sunday afternoon on the seaside. Meanwhile, the Hurt Locker is going on for all of these guys.
Alright, this is a massive moment. We've got Magnus coming past now, around 32k in. Patrick Langer will be coming past any second now. So he's come from 9th off the bike, over 12 minutes down, and potentially going to step his way up into 2nd place when he passes Magnus. Any second, he'll be passing. He's just down here now. Go on, Patrick! Wow. Right, it's time to get to the finish because it is happening quick. We need to get there before Sam, or the winner, comes in. Let's go.
Well, I have made it back, a slightly sweaty mess, but to the finish line just in time to find Mark and obviously see Sam Laidlow cross the line. It has been a pretty exciting day, hasn't it?
It has been an absolutely epic day, and I think, based by the noise of the crowd that's building up, we have got a very special athlete coming past us. Jan Frodeno finishing off. Go on, Jan! That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a victory I can't say lap, marathon,
Four laps.
42.2k. Yeah, he's been lapping it up. There's been some massive cheers out there for him. It's been awesome watching that. But yeah, what an epic race. So Sam Laidlow finished in a time of 8:06. Patrick Langer, though, came through from 9th off the bike, 12 minutes down, and finished just 3 minutes and 55 seconds behind Sam Laidlow with a 2:32 marathon to finish.
And I mean, I know it's a flat course, but that's the only thing going for this course, isn't it? It's absolutely blistering, and you can still see the age groupers. Some of them just setting out on it. I feel for them. But yeah, some incredible running. He just looked so smooth as he was moving through. But I mean, I think we should dwell a tiny bit first on Sam, because just to go from the front, from so early on the bike, and do that solo, I think it's so impressive.
Yeah, very, very impressive. And the run, I mean, he just looks so strong, so consistent.
Yeah.
He didn't fail at all at any point. So yeah, very, very impressive. So well done to him. And obviously, third place was Magnus Ditlev. Yeah, phenomenal performance also by him. He also was very aggressive on the bike, and it paid off.
Yeah, I mean, he, again, was consistent, but you could see that I think every kilometre was hurting, and yeah, just an incredible perseverance for him. Once you've been past as well, that's so hard, but you know, he held Patrick off for so long, and it was a clear line between the two of them, I think just over a minute, and then it was Rudy von Berg who was sort of victim, just being pushed off the podium thanks to Patrick's great running.
Yep, and then in 5th, we had Leon Chevalier, who actually posted a 2:39 marathon, so also a very impressive run split there, and notably, actually, we had 4 French within the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think we thought that was going to benefit them, and then after we did our predictions, lots of people were saying, oh, you know, why? Just because they know the course, everyone else can ride the course, but you know, maybe we do know something, Mark.
Yeah, very impressive. Yeah, so it's Clement Mignon. He actually came in 10th place, so hung on there despite it looking like he might have been struggling. Notably also, Brad Weiss also managed to hang on for a 7th place finish despite his penalty on the bike.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very quick run through. Hopefully you've enjoyed following our sort of slightly manic route around, but that is the thing about spectating. It's quite exhausting, it's great fun, and hopefully you've managed to share some of that energy with you guys.
Wow, well, what an incredible day. I mean, it is still going on, and we're going to be out here until the late hours cheering all of these age groupers on. I feel for them. It's going to be tough, because right now I think it's time we go and jump in the sea.
Yeah, I was going to say, we are cheering them all day, but we are having a refreshment first. We won't tell these guys, and I'm sure they are dying for it. What an amazing first ever World Championships here in France.
Yeah, do you think it's a success?
I think so. Love to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comment section below, and hopefully you have enjoyed it as much as us. If so, give us a like.